Hello everyone and welcome to the channel, it's the Eradicator, and today we are going to look at the aftermath of the Invictus Launch Fleet event. And well, it's one of the three major events of the year about Star Citizen, which just finished, and so that's why we are going to have a look at what happened, what was made, its achievements, but also perhaps where it could improve, and we will do that in three categories here. First, an artistic aftermath, and then we'll talk about the technical aftermath, and finally, of course, the financial aftermath. How could we not, right? Well, first, let's talk about the artistic aftermath, and here I would say that, well, since it's a major event for Star Citizen, of course, it is the ideal moment for Star Citizen developers to bring in some new vehicles, right? And, well, we have had some flight-ready or drive-ready, hands-on ready vehicles for this event, with the Scorpius for Rubber Space Industries and the Mule from Drake Interplanetary. And we also had a concept ship, this time from Enville Aerospace, and this was the Legionnaire. So first, I'm going to talk about the Legionnaire, and I think that we got a couple of things to say here. I am not happy when Star Citizen developers tend to take design cues from other games, and this is the way I feel it was. And don't get me wrong, I think that Paul Jones is extremely talented. He's been there for a very long time, and his team is always making sure that we really understand, we really got the feeling here of what these new vehicles are made for, with great visuals that give us, ideas of future gameplay, and that's awesome. However, when I look at the Legionnaire, I cannot help myself but think that I am also looking at a chieftain from Elite Dangerous, and I really wish that we could maybe avoid taking design cues from other ships, from other games, especially Elite Dangerous. And this is not the first time that I'm having this complaint. I also complained about the design of the Nomad, which looks like the ASP from Elite Dangerous again. And I'm totally fine when we are taking design cues from other franchises or other materials. I mean, look at the X-Wing, for example. The X-Wing. Look at the Scorpius, for example. The Scorpius is the perfect example of a successful inspiration from other material, in this case the X-Wing from Star Wars. Why? That's because, well, it's got this turret on rail, it's got the co-pilot in the back that is taking care of the remote turret, it's got these nice rectangle blue engines which don't look like X-Wing engines, and also when the wings are retracted it looks more like an Aurora, giving you this Star Citizen vibe as of, more like an exact copycat of an X-Wing. So that's why, in my opinion, the Scorpius is a perfect example of the wheel being successfully reinvented, but the Legionnaire not so much. So that's why, when Star Citizen developers, Star Citizen artists are taking inspiration from other material, I would like them to be trailblazers, like with the Scorpius, instead of followers, like with the Chieftain. Now, next, we are going to be talking about the technical aspect of the Invictus Launch Fleet event, which unfortunately, for me, was a failure. First, let's talk about something simple. Can somebody explain to me why there was no signage for the event? All the previous events were properly indicated in the verse, telling us exactly where to go with signs and posters. This was not the case for this Invictus Launch Fleet event. It was so hard to find it. In the PTU, it took me about an hour. There's been plenty of other content creators. I'm thinking of, for example, Sexy Biscuit, who was also lost trying to find the event. I also had to rely on going to the website and even asking people in the chat how to go to the event, and I knew it was at a brand new platform, but I didn't know if it was at CloudView Center, or if I had to go to Providence platform, or if I had to stay at the August Denlo Starport. I had no idea. I mean, I knew it was there, but once I was in game, I was overwhelmed a little bit. I didn't want to go back into the website, and having proper signage would have definitely helped, and I find it unacceptable that the devs had forgotten to do that. Next, we are also going to talk about the non-event that was supposed to be happening during the Invictus did not happen. The Siege of Orison, which unfortunately remained in the PTU, probably because of recurrent performance issues, which is not really a surprise. We all know that Crusader has been an issue since its beginning. It's been very resource hungry. This should, however, change with Gen 12. It has changed a little bit with 3.17, but not enough. However, Gen 12 is going to be including volumetric clouds, which is why as soon as we're going to have 3.17.2, performance on Horizon should significantly improve, which is why it eventually was delayed to 3.17.2, so I think at least. So, well, too bad that it wasn't there. But my main complaint here is not that it was not during the event, not for 3.17.1, but my main complaint here is that the taste phase is once again catered to American and European players. If you're an American and European player, good for you, because you were able to test it. But unfortunately, the playtest hours were not reasonable for people who live in Asia and Oceania, like Australia, New Zealand, and that's because, well, for us it was in the middle of the night, and that's why you haven't seen a single video about the Siege of Orison on this channel, simply because I'm sleeping, I have to I have to sleep. So that's why I was not able to take part of it, and that's why there hasn't been any footage. I haven't even tried, right? Next, how can we also not talk about the servers, which once again have been completely overwhelmed by the amount of new players and returning players, and especially at the very beginning of the event. The first weekend was chaotic, to say the least. Eventually it got better, but I believe that the studio should have anticipated that better than what they had. Next, and last but not least, how could we not talk about money? And this year, 2022, is again a year that is probably going to break all records. I mean, look at this chart, which I'm going to put the link in the comment section down below in the pinned comment. This is simply mind-blowing. We are already at the end of May at $45 million, which is $2 million short of what the entire year 2019 did. And May 2022 brought in the sum of $18 million, which was better than November 2020, which normally, the month of November is where we have the big sale. It's the most lucrative month for Star Citizen. It's the month that brings in the most revenue, and we have brought in May 2022 more money than in November 2020. That is again mind-blowing, and it's almost as much as November from last year, which brought $22 million. So yeah, we're gonna talk. If we talk about the financial success of this Invictus Launch Fleet event, yes, it is undeniable. It is a huge success, and perhaps thanks to this financial success, we may even have a profit again this year for the second year in a row. That would be amazing for Cloud Imperium Games. So there we have it, guys. This is what we can say about this Invictus Launch Fleet event, which for me, despite its revenues, its amazing revenues here, was somehow a little bit much of a, I don't want to say it's a failure, but I don't want to say it was spoiled by a lack of anticipation and maybe too much ambition, perhaps. Sure, we had amazing vehicles. Sure, we probably are going to have a benefit again at the end of this year, but the technical side should have had been better than what it was. But let me know in the comment section down below, guys. What do you guys think of this event? Did you take part of it? Have you bought a vehicle, perhaps? Let me don't hesitate to share your experience in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for your visit. Thank you so much to everybody who supported the channel on Patreon or via the YouTube Joe membership program. Shout out to Dr. Fabin, Eric Owen, Captain Snake, Geek Citizen, and the DJ Dunn. It's the Eradicator. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day. Cheers.